Hey, what's going on, everybody, man? This is Henry with Henry Island Photography, and today we're going to do a quick little unboxing of the EOS R6. I got rid of my R, and I had the R5, so I kind of looked at the video in between the two, and I felt like that I needed to kind of change up the game and match the colors up a little bit more, so I decided to go with the R6. So this isn't going to be a real big spec video or anything like that. This video right here is strictly going to be me just unboxing it and kind of giving you a quick overview of the camera. Eventually, I will put out some videos so that you can see side-by-side comparison, hopefully, of video between the R5 and the R6. I will say that other videos that I've seen online, that the video that comes out of the R6 is beautiful. I do know that I've shot several weddings with the R5 here recently. I really like the color out of it. I think Canon did a great job. Last wedding I shot, I started at 8:30 in the morning and I shot all the way till 5:30 in the evening and did not overheat until the very end of the day. And the only reason why I overheated is Canon said in between shots, you need to cut the camera off and cut the camera back on. But I didn't do that. The last 30-45 minutes of the wedding reception, I just left the camera on. And I was shooting a lot of stuff in 60 frames and 120 frames at the reception. And the camera did give me the overheat signal. But it was the end of the day. I didn't care. I got everything I needed out of that camera. And I'm hoping to get the same thing out of the R6. So everybody, never open this camera up. Don't know really what it looks like. I haven't held it in my hand or anything. But we're going to check it out today. I do have the R5 right here. So I'm going to kind of show you the two cameras side by side. And hey, check this out, man, the EOS R6. Ready? Let's take a look at this bad boy. You got your warranty paperwork inside the box. You do have a manual. Again, I tell everybody these manuals are nice to have, but you really don't need a manual. With YouTube these days, it's nice to have, but I don't think anyone really uses manuals anymore. I think everybody goes to YouTube. You do have your battery charger in here. I believe it is the same exact one as all the other Canon cameras. The only difference is the R6 and the R5 do have this new battery that you get, and it's supposed to give you, I think, up to 20% more battery life. It is the LPE6NH. Now you can use the ones without the H on it, use as backup batteries on the R6 and the R5. I've been using it. I really can't tell if it gives a whole lot more battery life. Some people say it might be, but to me, it's really not that big of a difference. Anyway, let's set the battery right there. Let's move this over here. Inside here, you do have your camera strap. Again, I tell everybody, these are nice. These are novelty items. The camera straps are okay. I do not use these camera straps. I am a big fan of the Hold Fast camera straps. The Money Maker is a dual camera strap that you can use. Have one camera on one side and one on the other, and you pick one up, your weight does not shift. And their Solo is a great also. They just came out with a vegan strap that looks like leather, but it's vegan. It's very comfortable. I used it at the last wedding, and I really liked it a lot. Okay, what else we have in here? Well, I guess that's it. It's the camera. Let's move this out the way. Here we go. Again, this is my first time checking this camera out, opening it up. Let's look at it. Feels really similar to the R5. I think the biggest difference between this camera and the R5 is a top LCD. It does not have a top LCD on it. And I'm gonna be honest with you, this will probably be the first camera I've shot in a very long time that does not have a top LCD. The 5D Mark II, the 5D Mark III, the 5D Mark IV, the R5, even the EOS R had a top LCD. I was talking to a good friend of mine named Chris Robinson, and I was telling him about it, and he was like, well, I shoot Sony, and Sony don't have a top LCD, and I had to think about that. And I was like, you know what? You're right, because I've gotten to where, because it's mirrorless, I'm able to look at the back of the monitor so much that I don't have to look at the top LCD. I did drop down in megapixels from the R to this. So I compromised going from 30 megapixels to 20 megapixels. But I think the color out of this, from what I've seen so far, is really nice, especially if it's like the R5. The R5's color is amazing. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous color. Eye tracking on this right here is way better. It does have the same exact sensor for eye tracking as the 1DX Mark III. And I shot the 1DX Mark I and II for the longest. And I think that's a big compliment to be in this camera at such a low price, coming in at $24.99. The same sensor instead of spending $6,000. So hey, let's open it up. Let's put the battery in. Again, if you're gonna use the grip, the connector's back here in the back, just like on the R5. I think that's very nice that Canon did that. Little things like that. The controls over here on the side for the connectors are the same. The mic is on the top, unlike the R, where it got in the way of the LCD when it flipped around. And you do have your HDMI and your USB mini, and then you have a cord for a trigger, and then you have your headphone jack on the side. So let's see. I think this is a little different right here. You do not have the connector for the intervalometer on this camera. So I guess that's gonna be strictly on the side. Boo. I don't like that. I like my intervalometer. Anyway, let's turn this baby on and see what it's like. Oh, wow. Dead batteries. Canon always sends their batteries not charged, but hey, never fail. I have batteries, the LPE6. Pop this one out and we'll slide this one in. There we go. Uh-oh, we have life. So let me go ahead and set this up real quick. I will tell you that I like for my cameras to match. I do not like for my cameras not to be in sync together. If you're out shooting photos and video, especially photos, and you go to load them in Lightroom, it's so much easier for your cameras to be in sync and be on the same exact time. That way, if I shoot one with this, and I shoot one with this, and I load them in Lightroom, they're gonna load up, boom, 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 right next to each other in order of how you shot them. If your times are off, it's not gonna work and it's not gonna happen. And then you're gonna have photos in two different places. So even when I have people come out and shoot with me, I have them sync their cameras up with mine. So that's a big pet peeve of mine. I'm sure a lot of people are like that. Hopefully you are. I'm gonna go back to my time, 7:20. And like I said, I'm going to make sure that these cameras match up. It's just simple things like that. You know, it makes things a lot easier when you're out shooting. And this right here says 1717. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to make mine the same exact time. Boom. There we have it. So I'm going to take this lens off and I'm going to swap them around. I just want to see what it feels like with a lens on here. Again, when you take your lenses off, always have your camera facing down so you don't get dust in it. Do a quick little swap with the lens cap. The way Canon has come out with these new RF lens caps and everything makes it kind of hard to line them up. Your dial is up here on the top. They go through the menus. Your record button, you have your lock button. It feels really good. It's a little bit heavier than a lot of mirrorless cameras. Like the R is definitely more girthy. The ergonomics of it feels really nice. I have a big hand, so I do like the fact that the camera fits in my hand really nice. It has your different modes. If you want to go to the video mode, like on the R5 and the R, you'd have to hit the mode button and then go to info. And I believe on this one, you just turn it on the dial to the video, and then you're in the video mode. I do know that this does not do 120 frames in 4K, but it does it in 1080. And if it looks anything like the 1DX Mark II or the Mark III, it's gorgeous. So I don't care. It doesn't have to be 4K at that frame rate. It does do 60 and it does do 23 and 24. This sensor, I believe, has a 5K sensor, and if it's sampled down to the 4K, so it's a prettier looking 4K than the R. Really, I think it's a nice camera. I mean, it'll probably end up being my everyday workhorse type camera. And this right here will be my studio camera. And when I go out and do portraits and weddings, that's what I'll shoot with. But this right here will be my main photo camera and my video camera. The dials on the back look the same as the R5. I don't see any difference. I really like the fact that the toggles here, I will have to get used to the dial and not having the LCD on the top, but I don't think it's a game changer, especially if the photos and video come out looking anything like the R5. Let's look at the different frame rates. You have 4K 59, 4K 29.7, you have 4K 23.98, you have Full HD at 59.94, Full HD at 29.97, and then you have it down at 29.97, and then you also have Full HD at 23.98. I mean, that's a good selection. 60 frames in 4K, guys. Hey, that's good. You know what you can do with 60 frames in 4K? Stick around, watch my channel, and look up Visual Poetry Studio, and you can look up www.visualpoetrystudio.com, and you can look at some of my photography and videography that I have. I do a lot of events and stuff, but this right here will basically be used for weddings. When I do big time events, I use a C100 Mark II, and hopefully I will be getting that C70 real soon. Ching Canon, thank you for coming out with that camera. Hopefully it'll be a great camera, and we won't have a whole lot of hindrances with that camera. Good thing about this, it has in-body stabilization. I want to throw that out there. I know I'm all over the place, but in-body stabilization mixed with stabilization on a lens. Thumbs up. Been waiting for that for a very, very long time. In case you don't have a gimbal with you and your hand holding it. I shot some stuff with the R5. Handheld at 120 and 60 frames at this last wedding, and it was gorgeous. So really, really looking forward to shooting with this, getting out there, trying it out, seeing what it's all about. Hopefully this right here kind of gave a little bit of insight to some people. I know I'm not a big spec guy. I'm not going to go into all these specs and talk about that. I just wanted to show you what the camera looked like, show you what it looked like in someone's hands, can show you what it looked like next to the R5. I did trade in my R, so I really can't show you what it looks like next to an R, but I can tell you that it's a lot girthier and the R was a lot smaller. But overall, from everything I've watched on YouTube and read, this camera is a beast. Thanks again for all the support, especially on the RF 100-500 review I did. I reached over 10,000 views, and I really thank y'all a lot for supporting me and watching me. If you like the videos I put out, subscribe to my channel. Hit that like button down below. Hit that little bell icon over in the corner so you can get notifications when I put out new content. And again, man, y'all stay inspired. Y'all stay blessed. Be safe. Love everybody. That's the motto for 2020 and here on out. Love everybody. Keep on shooting. We'll see you again soon. Love y'all.